Hi, today I want to explain you the difference between transform with the capital T and transform with the lowercase t. So here it is. We have a blue cube that is called the avatar and the yellow plane that it is sitting on. But this is not the focus of this exercise. We don't want to do much with this avatar object. All we want to show is that there is this rotate script on it and has a rotation speed of 100. If I press play, as you can imagine, it starts spinning. All right, fair enough. So let's see what this rotate function does. It does this. Okay, public float rotation speed initialized with 100 from the IDE. We have already seen it. Then there is a xform transform that in start, because it is a link to another component, right? Let me show you. We are in this component here, the rotate, and we need a reference to this component because we want to influence the rotation. And there is an API called rotate that is accessible through the reference to this transform. Okay, so what do? We need to get the reference. We get a reference of type transform with the capital T because it's a type, is a component type. So I get component transform. Okay, so now this that up to now was null, right? Now if this line of code succeeds, it usually does, it will be not null and will be pointing to the transform component at the top in the inspector. And then through that I call the rotate function. I say around the vertical axis, rotate at this speed, blah blah, 100, right? Okay, it's all good. So we already seen that it works. Just let's give it another try. Again, it doesn't really interact much with anything else other than the transform component. So rotate component in start gets a reference to the transform component, and then there is an API called rotating here that influences the Y rotation, the rotation around the y-axis. You can see it here. All right. So what this is about is no need to do this. That's it. Normally, and for any other component, you would have to do get component XYZ. XYZ is the type of the component. But if XYZ happens to be transformed, there is no need to do it. So let me clarify. I can comment it out. In fact, in this case, at least I don't need to do anything in transform at all. And instead of using xform, I can comment out. I can use transform. So what is this transform? Is a shortcut that is built in every component. So every component that is not transform, even without doing a transform equal get component transform, can use this transform with the lowercase t. It's an actual reference. It's a reference to the transform in this same Gamma object where this rotate component is. There is obviously always a transform component at the top, right? Okay, I can access it. I can reference it. I don't need to initialize it, to do nothing. I just say transform.rotate, same thing. I go back to Unity and I will recompile because it sees that the file changed. Again, I'll press play and I'll see that it still rotates just fine. Just to give you an idea, if instead of 100 I put 1000, see, it goes faster. So it means it's really working. That's it. That's all. Capital T transform is the type of the component, whereas transform lowercase t is this built-in, predefined reference to the transform of every Gamma object that the other components can use to access either the position, rotation, and scale of that Gamma object, or the APIs inside the transform like translate, rotate, and so on. And that's it. It's pretty simple when it comes down to it. Thank you.